Hi, my name is Angela, and I wanted to go over how I've updated the Go server shell. It's basically just a shell that you can use gonew on. Gonew is something that Russ Cox made in order to pull down a project. Uh, it basically just is a shell so that you wanted to. Well, I use it in order so that I don't have to like start from scratch always. I can just use what I built and learned and just kind of go from there. Which is useful for me. I just figure I'll share it. Um, so I made a video prior on this project, but I've updated it. I'll kind of go over what I've updated. Uh, Basically, the only thing I've really added was uh, a project uh, for image compression. This is basically the project, or not project, but this is the dependency from this person. Uh, and I've added minifying, which is from this person, and it minifies CSS and JavaScript. And I've added the reloading, the live reloading, which is from this person right here. And this is nice because you don't actually have to input it into your code. You just download it and it'll automatically run it if you start out with wgo, like here. And it's got a bunch of prefixes like X directory means don't watch that directory. Directory means watch that directory. X file means don't watch that file, so on and so forth. But in order to pull this down, you would have to install gonew if you don't have it already. You do need Go 1.21. And basically the way this goes is you do gonew, the GitHub repo. This example.com is like just like a top folder, so to speak. It won't actually pull that down. It's just a way to say this is the folder structure. But this is the actual name of the folder that you can change that it will be. So you could just grab this, put it into your thing. You can basically change this to whatever you want, this name right here. Sure. So it pulled it down, as you can see. It might take you a little bit longer when it's not cached. What I like to do is take that folder, pull it in, so that that's the only thing you have to deal with. You do have to remember to do go mod vendor afterwards, so that it pulls down all of the dependencies. And once you have that down, you can pretty much just run it. Go run, whatever. But I've also added in there, because it pulls down the whole repo, the VS Code debugger, so that, because the thing is, in order to run it, I made commands like the ST one in order to actually start the program. The other command is min, which uses go Viper in order to look at the config in the optimize folder, and it's basically just where your assets are that it tells Go Viper about. And Go Viper basically stores those in the memory, the paths, and then it tries to minify them based off of their extension. And then it concatenates the files together, the JS and the CSS, so that inside the assets folder, you have this build folder, which is basically it takes all these, and then in the optimized folder under the assets, it throws into one file. So I'm sorry, it does that first with the concatenation. This just throws it into an array, sorry, or an array, a slice. And then this optimizes that single file that has all those CSS files kind of concatenated. It does not minify the name of the functions, so it doesn't like make them all into one letter. There are some things that sometimes it doesn't like comments or imports or whatever. Like imports in the CSS, sometimes it'll just not like it for whatever reason. What I usually do then is I'll go to CDN, copy paste out the code, put into one of these or another one, or add it to here, and then it'll just concatenate minify. If you want to just do that on your own, you would do go run and then min, and that will minify the CSS of JavaScript and then optimize the images. But like I said, it just does the single ones that were from the concatenation of the other files. The images are in the optimized folder. And as far as by default, the templates folder is in the assets folder because I just feel as though the HTML is just merely HTML code, I guess you could say, or strings in a sense. It does link that min CSS in the header, and then the JavaScript one is obviously in the footer. It does, because of the middleware, dude, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, nonce. That is, if you want to change that, and the source, server, and then right in the middleware. Let's see if, yeah. So right here, it basically makes it so that it's kind of randomized. Well, this turns into a string, and it uses middleware in order to put it into the context, so that when you go to create a handler, let's say like this, you can just call c.get the n because that's in the context, and then you pass this so that because of the server's middleware that watches that nonce thing, to ensure that the assets that are actually on HTML come from the server itself. It's a security thing, say content security policy. You can look at that up. It's really boring stuff, but it's just a way to secure your assets that are on your HTML itself. You do have to do that for anytime you link CSS or JavaScript, or you do embedded CSS or JavaScript or images. And so it's just a security thing I kind of added and built up, and some you don't necessarily have to worry about, except that you have to put on the HTML. You have to go in the handler, make it so that it's available to the actual template, and then if you go to assets, templates, and then you actually see where there is a CSS or an image, which isn't about us. No, it might be in the header. Yeah, or in the footer. Wherever, I mean, by default, it's there already, and you just would copy paste that into your assets. Now for that live reload thing, which is really nice, this gow. If you want to just install it on your own, you do have to install this first. and then you can put whatever flags you want on there. I basically, on my project, kind of had said that uh, you can have the wgo run and watch certain asset directories, and then just have it run the program for the min. I can't see it on here. Yeah, because the copy button. Let me show you. See the min? That's basically the CMD min. That's for the minification of all the assets. The first wgo just runs it. The second one minifies everything every time there's a change in the assets folder. So that when you go to build out stuff, here, I'll just show you. If you run it, and then we go to the local folder. And let's say you want to change this. Templates about, I don't know, this is a thing. You have to hit save, or you put autosave on VS Code. See how it says it's watching the assets folder? Now if you hit reload, and you go to about, boom. Which is really nice, and it minified the files. So if you're working in the CSS, let's say the custom one, because that's where you'd put stuff. Let's say we did body, background, blue. Sure. See how it watches the assets and it minifies them. I should have done it to where it turns it blue. Do I not have a body in there? Let me see. I don't, or I do. But why? Should have minified it. Oh, unless it's a certain color because of some of the stuff they have in there. What if I did should minify it, I believe. Maybe it doesn't minify it, and I need to possibly change that. Yeah, maybe it doesn't. So that's something I have to change. But in order to minify it, go run that min. And that should actually change the files. And boom. So that's weird that for some odd reason it should have just ran it. Because of the min. Unless you can't just run two instances of it. Could be. Yeah, I'm sure there's a way with the flags to make it so you could run two commands instead of just one. See, they say arguments here. I'm wondering if maybe I could figure that out later. But yeah, that would be, because the thing is, at the end of the day, these files under build are not linked in HTML. The optimize are, because it's just one file. You want one file because Google can hurt you on Google speed tests and everything if it's not one file. So yeah. And it's just nice and minimized and easy, and it's only one link, and you kind of move on from there. But yeah, as far as updating the templates and everything, it's really easy that way. I did spend quite a bit of time on this middleware to try and get it to work. One thing I will say is, as far as these assets go with the binary, I still got to work on adding these to the binary itself. The thing is, like I made a comment here, is you can do that, but then when you run the wgo, it would have to rebuild everything, which isn't too bad, but I don't know. It's up to you and what you want to do. I suppose maybe I should do dev and just regular run. I don't know. Anyways, maybe that's something in the future I'll add in there. Uh, but yeah, that's pretty much what I worked on was the security stuff, which is quite a bit, just to figure it out and everything. Uh, and adding those packages for minimization so you don't need npm quite as much, which is really nice. Uh, yeah, I will say I didn't update the image optimization to the point at which you could use like SVGs or whatever. I believe you can do that though. Image compression. I mean, you could build your own stuff if you really wanted. It's really easy. I ain't gonna say it's as good as like Google Squash or something with the image optimization. Uh, that just is what that is. Uh, but you could also add your own image change, like resize and stuff, if you really wanted. Uh, yeah, that was pretty much what I added and updated, and I just like it because then I don't really have to do much in order to build, which is really nice. It does have Bootstrap, jQuery, and Materialize, which you may or may not like. I mean, you could just taking it out is just going into build and just removing these, and that's it. Then you don't have them anymore. I will say this Bootstrap though, this one I did copy paste out of the CDN. For whatever reason, their download for Bootstrap, I don't know, it just didn't work. So their CDN worked, so I downloaded it and put it in here. I don't know. I don't know what that's about.